If you are dealing with hand stiffness or hand pain, this is the video for you. I'm a physical therapist specializing in helping people with osteoarthritis. And today I'm going to show you my top 8 favorite exercises to reduce stiffness, reduce pain, and improve the usability of your hands. This first exercise includes opening and closing into a fist. As I close my fist, I'm bringing my thumb right over my hand and then opening up as wide as I can, coming back down. This is going to help with grip strength. If you're having difficulty opening jars, if you're having difficulty holding on to heavier things, open your fingers out wide and then squeeze into a fist. The fist does not need to be squeezed as hard as you can. We're just working on that range of motion and getting your fingers used to it. For this one, you'll want to do anywhere between 5 to 15 repetitions. Great to do when you're watching TV, if your hands are feeling stiff in the morning. Number 2 is finger bends. What I'm going to do is have my hand open. I'm going to bend at these middle finger joints and bring my fingertips down to my palm. Back up and down. I really like this one because it works the muscles in the back of the hand as I'm opening my fingers up, and then works the muscles in the front of the hand as I bring my fingertips down. This one can be really great if you find yourself typing frequently. If you find yourself playing a musical instrument, you want to keep the mobility and dexterity in your fingers. Trying anywhere between 5 to 10 repetitions. You can also do both hands at once. But if you have one side that's more painful, you can just focus on one at a time. Number 3 requires you to bring each finger down one at a time to touch your thumb. This movement is also called opposition, and it can be very beneficial for manipulating small objects, gripping them. It can also be very beneficial if you find yourself having to use touch screens for a phone or an iPad. I like to count each finger touching as one full repetition. And you want to try for about 5 to 10 total repetitions. Again, each finger touching is one repetition. So you want to go through each one of these just like that. Number 4 involves the wrist. In order to keep your hand functioning properly, you also have to make sure that your wrist is functioning properly. I like to just rest my hand on a stable surface, and what you're going to do is you're going to bend directly at the wrist, bringing your hand down. Keep your hand in a nice flat position, and then I'm going to raise my hand up as high as I can. You're going to come down, try to do it in a controlled manner, and then come back up. This can be very beneficial if you are using a computer mouse frequently. If you're playing sports, especially racket sports, keeping these muscles loose and limber can be very helpful at preventing even some elbow injuries. You want to complete anywhere between 5 to 10, very gentle, up and down. For number 5, we are taking it back to the days of thumb wars. What you're going to do is just relax your hands on a stable surface, and you're going to just rotate your thumbs in circles, just like this. This can be helpful if you are manipulating smaller objects, if you're grabbing things, if you're dealing with thumb pain, thumb arthritis. This can be a very relaxing movement, and if you find it hard to coordinate while doing both at the same time, just go ahead and do one at a time and focus on keeping your thumb relatively straight. And I'm just thinking about taking the tip of my thumb and drawing a circle if I had a piece of paper on top of this. Anywhere between 15 to 30 seconds should suffice, especially if you're dealing with thumb stiffness, thumb pain. And then make sure to do both sides. For the 6th one, you can use a small ball. A lacrosse ball works really well, a tennis ball. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all my fingers on this ball. And what I want you to focus on, you're going to squeeze the ball, but when you do that, I want you to focus on engaging every single finger. from the thumb to the 4 other fingers, try to engage each one as you squeeze in an even manner. This can be great for opening jars, if you're using if you're doing something that requires a lot of grip strength, maybe if you like climbing or anything like that, carrying heavy groceries. Grip strength is so incredibly important to maintain. I recommend only doing one hand at a time and checking to see if you notice a difference in the strength you have on either side, if one side is easier to squeeze than the other. If you notice one side is lacking a bit, go ahead and focus more on that side. What I do is set a timer for 30 seconds and just repeat squeezes, holding maybe for a second or two, and seeing how many squeezes you can get, and then to the other side. For number 7, this is a finger extension exercise because a lot of the movements we do are flexing our fingers or bending our fingers inwards. What we want to do is actually focus on bringing our fingers up while your hand is on a surface. I want you to see if you can isolate each finger. You might notice certain fingers are harder. For me, this ring finger tends to be a little harder. This can be helpful if you're using remote controls or gaming controllers, doing a lot of typing, playing a musical instrument. Again, lifting up each finger all the way through counts as 1. I would stick to about 5 or 10 repetitions. I would do one hand at a time for this, so you can concentrate on each finger, just like this. This last one is simply taking your fingers and spreading them apart as wide as you can and then bringing them together. I do like to have the elbow supported in this one, so you can really focus on those small hand muscles that help to support the joints. If your fingers are feeling stiff, this one can be helpful to reduce some of that stiffness. It can also be helpful for those smaller tasks that require a lot of dexterity of your fingers. Again, I would do one hand at a time for this, so you can focus on equally opening up the spaces between your fingers as best that you can. And then you'll switch to the other side. Each opening counts as 1 repetition. I would do anywhere between 10 to 20 repetitions, as long as it feels good to you. If you need to, you can also do this in a supported position, opening your hand up and then closing it. Opening your hand up and then closing it, whichever feels best for you. The goal here is to choose 2 to 3 movements that felt really good to you. They felt challenging, but still felt doable. Just choosing a couple can really help you to hone in and become consistent. When you're watching TV, when you're standing waiting for something, doing just these small movements can be very beneficial to help prevent further hand pain, further hand stiffness, so you can continue to use your hands how you need to. If you like this video and found this helpful, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button down below so we can hang out again and you can learn more arthritis tips and tricks. Thanks for watching.